Hi guys, here we are. We are going to be doing the chromatography experiment. Before you start, you should have your chromatography experiment instructions and results sheets printed out. There are 3 pages. You're going to need materials for this. You're going to need water, white coffee filters, 3 to 6 per student, 3 to 6 cups per student, any kind, a ballpoint pen, a permanent black marker, 5 colors of washable markers, including black and brown. I want you to gather all of these things and then continue the video. So pause if you don't have them and go get your stuff right now. So these are the pieces of paper that you're going to need here. We're going to go through this so that you don't need anyone to help you with the reading. You can do this all on your own and you can have some fun. I'm excited. So once again, here are our materials that we need. We need white coffee filters, 3 to 6, a ballpoint pen, water, 3 to 6 cups per student, any kind, a permanent black marker, 5 colors of washable markers, including black and brown. So, chromatography experiment that we're going to be doing, some of the tiny particles of matter can reflect certain colors that we see. When marker companies produce colors, they may choose to blend colors together. Water and filter paper can separate certain types of markers' colors into their individual parts. In this experiment, we will use a technique called chromatography to see if we can separate colors into the colors they were originally created with. We will test the following markers: a black washable marker, a brown washable marker, a black permanent marker, and any other colors and marker types of your choice. So the hypothesis here. To hypothesize, if you remember, we have that vocabulary word for this week. To hypothesize means to make an educated guess. Take a guess based on the information provided above and for each marker. Predict if the ink of the marker will separate into colors and what colors it will separate into. So when you get to your black washable marker, I want you to write down in here what you think your black washable marker will separate into. And in this box, the second box, you're going to hypothesize the black permanent marker. What do you think the black permanent marker will separate into? What colors? The third box is the brown washable marker. So you're going to see what do you think your brown washable marker will separate into? What colors? So next you got your fourth box. I hypothesize the whatever color you put here marker. Remember I asked you to have 5 markers. One's going to be a brown one and one's going to be a black one, and then one's a permanent black one. So if you could get 3 other markers that you put their colors in here and whether they are washable or permanent, and then you put what colors you think that they will separate into here. And then you can pause this video right now and come back when you have all 6 of these boxes filled out with your hypotheses. Instructions here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to gather all of your supplies. For each step, you read through the entire step before starting. If you need to change the experiment in any way, be sure to write it down. There is a space provided for your notes in your lab notebook. Part of being a good scientist is recording your data properly. In the center of a piece of filter paper, draw a thick circle with a black washable marker. Your circle should be about 2.5 inches in diameter. That means 2.5 inches wide for your circle. The measurement from one end of the circle to the other. Do not fill in your circle with color. So you just want to do an outside, like just a circle, the outline. Use a ballpoint pen. label the far edge of your filter paper with the type of marker and your name of initials. So this looks like this one could possibly be your black permanent marker. So with a regular pen, you're going to write over here on the side, black permanent marker. And now you're going to repeat step 1 right here, this one, with a new filter and a black permanent marker, or oh, that was the black washable marker. Okay, so you start with your washable marker, and then you do your permanent marker, and then you repeat a third time with a new filter and a brown washable marker, and then you repeat with as many other colors and or marker types you choose. But you have to label it so that you know, because otherwise it's just going to be a whole bunch of circles, and you're not going to know what marker you used on that filter. Fold each of your filters papers in half 3 times so as to form a cone-shaped piece. I'll show you what that looks like right there. So then you're going to take a cup for each filter paper and barely cover the inside bottom of the cup with water. So it looks like, since this is going to be 2.5 inches, you're going to want at least, you might want 1 inch, because then it'll come up like probably like right about here. Place the filter paper point downside into the cup. You want the water line to be below the ink of the marker. That means below the line here, guys. If the water is too high, remove any extra water so that it is below the marker. Do this before placing the filter paper in the cup. So you basically just want a little bit of water, maybe less than 1 inch. All it's going to do is absorb. The water is going to absorb up into your filter paper, and it's going to go up, right? If you remember the capillary action, the properties of water, and how water will go up against the force of gravity because of adhesion. I think it's the way that the water molecules want to stick to each other and also to to other substances. And so what's going to happen is your water is going to go, where's my thing? Up. It's going to go up once you dip it lightly into a small amount of water. So you're going to repeat this step for each filter paper that you are testing. You're going to wait approximately 5 to 7 minutes while the water spreads up the paper into the ink. You may leave the filter propped up in the cup and proceed with the rest of the lesson if desired. Slowly pull your paper straight out, waiting a few seconds for the water to drip. Open the paper and set it on a dry surface. Record any noticeable color separation in your lab notebook. Be sure to record which marker and color you used. Allow your filters to dry completely. You may choose to move on to other things and revisit this experiment later. Once dried, record any other noticeable changes. Take time to be a good observer. Look for details in the colors. Some colors show up just on the outer edge of where the ink traveled, and some may be very light and not too visible. So, optional scientific minds are full of questions and wonder and seek to find understanding. You may choose to take this experiment one step further by experimenting with different color sources. See if this experiment would work on a different type of paper, or if it would work with oil or rubbing alcohol rather than water. Another idea is to do the experiment again, but this time fill in the circle or use a greater amount of ink. So what I want you guys to do is bring to class on Thursday. I want you to bring in all of your samples and what you found. Let me see the other pages that we have here. If I can find my mouse here. Hello, come on. I want you to bring this paper in. the hypothesis that you had to class. So we can talk about it. What you thought the colors were going to turn into. And then I want you to fill this part out here. And also, here's your results. What did you observe? So, which colors and marker types separated and which did not? What colors did they separate into? So, with your black washable marker, observations with wet filter paper, what happened? You can draw it here, or you can write it in words if you want to. Try and get as close to the colors that you found if you're going to draw it. Observations with dry filter paper. So I think, I'm not sure, but I think this column is going to be when it's wet. And then this one, after it dries, what happens to the color? Oops. You're going to do that with a black permanent marker, and you're going to do that brown washable marker, and then the other three colors that you've chosen. I want you to fill this in. So, like, let's say I find a blue washable marker. I'm going to put blue here, washable here. Observations with wet paper. So after I do the experiment and I dip it in the water, what happened when it was wet? Watch it, see what happens, but give it enough time so that the water can go all the way up to your desired colors. And then once it dries, what happens to them? Don't forget to use that ballpoint pen, the regular kind of pen, and write on that filter what marker you used. So write down any thoughts or ideas you have that could explain your results, or why do you think these things happened? And that's about it for this experiment. I hope you have fun, and please bring your completed filters to class. And if you guys decide to make something beautiful, a piece of art or whatever, with your newfound way of creating with chromatography, please do. I look forward to seeing what you have.